Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
Governor Walz asked you to release the MRI records.
Will you tell us what it was
Governor
for?
Walz, you mean the incompetent Governor Walz? So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What was the reason?
It's like my phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So if you want to hear about it or if you want to release it, do you want to have it released?
Yes,
News Nation, failing News Nation.
No, sir, we're not failing.
News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Yes, please. Can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank
you too.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
I mean, what do you brag about, YouTube? Huh? Would you brag about the results of an MRI that you had at Walter Reed Memorial Hospital? Bragging about an MRI, as Mary Trump put it, is like going around saying that you aced your X-ray. What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And it's been back in the news that people want to see the MRI studies. People want to know if the president that they have is actually thinking right. Is actually not just falling asleep because he's old, but because he literally has no idea where or when he is. And so just conks out as a result to deal with the cognitive dissonance.
Let me have you weigh in on this, because part of your initial response to President Trump's post was to call for him to release the results of his MRI. And I want to give you a chance to give our viewers exactly a sense of what you mean. What exactly were you suggesting by that, Governor?
Well, here we got a guy on Thanksgiving where we spent time with our families, we ate, we played Yahtzee, we cheered for football or whatever. This guy is apparently in a room ranting about everything else. This is not normal behavior. It is not healthy. And presidents throughout time have released a couple things. They've released their tax returns, not Donald Trump, and they've released their medical records, not Donald Trump. And look, the MRI is one thing, but I think what's most concerning about this is, as your viewers out there are listening, has anyone in the history of the world ever have an MRI assigned to them and have no idea what it was for, as he says? So look, it's clear the president's fading physically. I think the mental capacity, again, ranting, crazily at midnight on Thanksgiving about everything else. There's reasons for us to be concerned. This is a guy that randomly says the airspace over Venezuela is closed. He's ruminating on if you could win a nuclear war. Look, this is a serious position. It's the most powerful position in the world. And we have someone at midnight throwing around slurs that demonize our children. At the same time, he's not solving any of the problems. So I'm deeply concerned that he is incapable of doing the job.
So the story itself may seem a little bit old, but now that it's back, I want to talk about the nuance of this. I mean, what do you brag about, YouTube? Huh? Would you brag about the results of an MRI that you had at Walter Reed Memorial Hospital? That's what he's doing. That's what he did. He's bragging about his MRI results on October 10th. It's hilariously bleak, people, because bragging about an MRI, as Mary Trump put it, is like going around saying that you aced your X-ray. And Drill Sergeant, why should I care about this? And I'm going to get to that. I promise you, there's going to be nuance here. I'm not just dunking on an old orange idiot. You see, in an April episode of Lying Liar Fabulates Out of His Lie Hole, the Tangerine Tornado himself had the typical annual physical assessment that every president has. Although having 3 this year alone kind of negates the annual part of that statement. But neither here nor there. The truth is, a lot of people have to complete this in order to maintain health insurance or life insurance or whatever it is. The White House physician Sean Barbella wrote in April that the head felon in charge is in excellent health and that he has robust cardiac, pulmonary, neurological, and general physical function. Sure, buddy. Sure. Whatever you have to say so that he doesn't have to throw a tangerine tantrum at you. Valencia is a type of orange. Valencia Voldemort was diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. To most of us, that's called varicose veins. It's surface level. It means that the blood pools in those veins and that blood has a harder time making it back up to your heart. In people of advanced age, like an 80-year-old, right, this applies. The most common reason this happens is deep vein thrombosis, DVT. That's blood clot that often forms in the legs. So back to the question, why should we care? Medical professionals don't typically give MRIs for just funsies, people. That's why. MRIs can be used to determine brain atrophy, blood flow through the brain, blood flow to your heart, and other things. MRIs are usually ordered because a doctor suspects something serious is going on. For example, vascular dementia or a stroke. Why is that important to us? Well, because the circus peanut himself was actually given a Montreal cognitive assessment in his October visit. Yeah, if you don't know, the MOCA, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, is given to assess cognitive dysfunction, such as when someone may have Alzheimer's or some other cause of possible cognitive impairment. Now, we don't want to diagnose the tangerine toddler from afar. Sure. Most of us are not neurologists, and he's not our patient. It does inspire some nagging questions, though, doesn't it? He has repeatedly mistaken the cognitive test for an IQ test, the Montreal Cognitive Test. Yeah, it doesn't inspire confidence, right?
AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ, and we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test.
What is your reaction to what he is saying?
It is absolutely ridiculous that I live rent-free in his mind in a time in which the American people are suffering. He absolutely consistently buys into this idea, or continues to put it out there, that women of color somehow are low IQ. Let me be clear. I have a lot more education than he does. This is just what it is, degree-wise. I have earned my degrees. My daddy didn't have to make a phone call to get me into anything because that wasn't a possibility, okay? So we can stop playing games as if I am somehow lesser.
On October 28th, while in Japan, his fartness appeared to be wandering aimlessly, and the prime minister attempted to guide him like an old man and holding his hand across the street, guide him back to his place. That same day, while on an aircraft carrier, he delivered a rambling speech about magnets and water on a Navy ship. On November 5th, a new sign appeared outside the Oval Office, people. The calligraphy is lovely, I'm sure, in golden letters, emblazoned with the Oval Office. Now, one of the comments on social media was about how smart that was, but because memory care patients often label rooms and objects. Listen, this channel is not mocking folks who are in memory care. It is mocking Trump, period, for still being in office despite appearing to need that memory care. That's what I'm saying. Allegedly, Donnie Depends mixed up South America and South Africa at a business forum in Miami. No, Donnie. No. South Africa is where your friend Elmo Muskrat is from. You know, where apartheid was. Where the people that you're letting in, the white folks, while kicking out all the brown, you remember, that's the one. Right. South America is where Argentina is. You remember, the place that you want to import beef from. Note, Argentina had significant struggle with foot and mouth disease infections in cattle back in the early 2000s. Just saying. Neither here nor there. As far as the nagging question, people, that one that I mentioned earlier, why was Air Circus Peanut having another checkup at Walter Reed so soon? Why did he undergo a Montreal cognitive test? What were the results of that test? And why did he get an MRI? For what? Of what? What, if anything, was suspected that he needed to get an MRI? You see, YouTube, despite what you may think, elderly patients aren't automatically given the Montreal cognitive test or MRIs of their brains. Like was said earlier, the Montreal cognitive test is typically done if a doctor or mental health professional suspects there may be a problem that needs assessment. That's the nuance. That's why it's important. MRIs aren't given willy-nilly. Again, it's typically because a healthcare provider thinks there may be a problem, or if someone has had some sort of medical event that requires one, like heart damage or after a heart attack or stroke, since we're talking about clotting and pooling blood. Does it make sense now? He may forget, guys, but you should remember this video. When more people start asking for the results of this MRI, and hopefully to actually see the results of this cognitive test, not given to us by some Elmer Fudd-style clown in a white jacket who pretends to be a doctor. As that starts to come out, remember this video. Remember the points, and remember why it's important. That's all. Short one for tonight. Tomorrow, we fight. Guys, I'm doing something very special for Ukraine. I want you to go down there to the comment section. Ukraine is in need of trucks, and I'm trying to raise some money for them to get trucks in the name of the company or the name of the NGO, non-government organization. It's a charity. It is Car for Ukraine. I did a whole speech about it last time. I'll put up another video, and I don't want to be embarrassed, man. They got all these other people, all these other YouTube stations that are already beating me. Wait a minute. No, they're not. Ever since I put that out yesterday, you guys came through. You guys came through. I'm now number 2. I was number 1 for a minute, and then whoever this is, whoever that is, they became number 1. You guys did it. I knew you could. So it's going on till Christmas. Give a little now, give a little more later. Keep on going. It's going to be on for like 8 weeks, actually. So just give what you can. They're fighting over there. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.